Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Beyond the Bell. It is Wednesday, February 21st. I almost said 22nd. 21st, 2024. It is 60 seconds after the bell, which means it is time to go beyond the charts, beyond the news, and beyond the bell. I say that because, it's a nice catchphrase and all that, but we are really going to go into the charts and into the news momentarily. As always, we are brought to you by our good friends over at the Blue Sky Trading Company for the clearest path to a live brokerage account, live trading with Mike every day in the Discord, and this awesome show. What other needs do you have? So, guys, we're going to get right into the big picture today, and we are going to get right into a chart of the NQ because, guys, NVIDIA is reporting earnings any moment now. I'm not exactly sure. I haven't tracked them as much as I've tracked some other tech companies, so I'm not sure if they're one of those that likes to kind of wait for the limelight. We'll know. They're 5%, I believe, of the S&P. It's there's technical traders. We don't care what the news is. We just want to know what news is coming, and we want to understand kind of how it affects the markets. So we're going to watch here. If this doesn't come in for a few minutes, I guess we can always come back to this chart. We're going to be talking specifically later on, guys. Okay, I was cutting out there. It looks like I'm back. Okay, we should be good. Okay. Showing a clean connection on this side, guys. So if there's anything on the other end, I apologize for that. But regardless, guys, so we're going to come back here, and we're going to talk specifically about the Static Growth Plus account. So we actually gave away a couple of these on yesterday's show, and we're specifically going to be giving you some tips for passing that specific account. We've talked, Blue Sky's a prop firm funded trader company, so we talk a lot about evals, passing evals, all of that kind of stuff. And we're going to be talking specifically 3 tips for passing your Static Growth Plus account. And I'm going to be speaking specifically to that account and those rules, and pointing you to the website where you can get your own. But in the meantime, we're going to continue watching this for a little while. Let's go to the 4-hour chart and talk about the big picture. Big rally last half hour or so. Wonder if somebody knew something. Couldn't be, right? No, never. Little area of support here. So we've held basically now we've held above 17,500. Okay, very key area here at 17,500. Drifted below it, but we couldn't hold that level. Okay, and the 5-minute chart today, guys, kind of uneventful up until this little area here, right? Just sort of moving up and down, tightening, price action, contraction until we got here. And then we went into another area of contraction, moved down. It was not the easiest day to trade. I basically came out slightly above break even on my trading today, guys. I didn't take anything in this last thing because I was down here prepping for the show. But just a little bit of a weird day. I had about 3 setups that I really, really liked, guys. And I've told you before, I enter most of my trades on stop market orders, right? So I'm looking for areas that, so for example, I'm not, but let's say I was playing a long here, okay, on a breakout above this area here at, let's say, 550, okay? I'm going to set my stop a little higher, stop market. So market into an order. When we hear stop, we often think about getting out of a trade, right? Like a stop loss. I use stop market orders to get into trades quite a bit because I want to see a little bit of divergence from the area that I'm looking to get in. So again, if I were looking to go long at 550, I'd probably go a couple of handles above it, set a stop market order, and then we get in. Well, on a future show, I'll review some of the specifics on orders. I'm assuming a lot of you guys know that. If you don't know what a stop market order is, or a stop loss, stop profit, limit order, stop limit, all those, please, guys, look into that because that's sort of the core of what we do. And getting into trades at very specific points can save you or make you quite a bit of money. So, being precise on entries, the NQ is a tough one. I know, a lot of people trade the NQ. I know Mike trades the NQ. I trade the NQ a lot. It can be very hard to be precise on the entries. And we often think, what's a couple of points here or there? Well, when you get to trading 2, 3, 4, 5 minis, a couple of points can be a couple $100. So, again, make sure you Know the tools, know your order entry on your platform, guys, as well. Make sure you understand. I don't care if you use Tradeovate. I put TradingView up here a lot. Whatever the case may be, you trade on the chart, you trade on the DOM, whatever the case may be. Make sure you understand how to put in your orders. Okay, just marketing in and out of orders can be very inefficient, and especially, guys, in eval stages of accounts, right? So whether you're trading an eval or you're in the blue live stage, you are technically trading a sim account, right? And so entries can be very imprecise on that. And even when you're in a brokerage account, like my personal account, or you make it to the blue sky brokerage account, just marketing into things, you can end up sometimes up or down. And it doesn't even out. The slippage seems to kill you long term. You can be, as soon as you hit the button to send market order, you can be out $100, and then that's already you're coming from behind, right? So again, just keep that in mind. I try to be very precise on my entries. Like I said, most of the time it's a stop market order. Occasionally I'll set a stop limit order if I'm very specific on where I want to get in. Today there was a lot of stop orders, stop orders to get into trades all over my board, and most of them didn't get filled today. And that happens sometimes, right? You see a pattern developing, you say, okay, if we get to this area, this particular trade pattern is confirmed, and we just don't get there, right? I actually was within less than a handle. I know it was at my, of getting into a trade that would have been a pretty big loser. So by being very specific on my entries, I was able to go ahead and save myself a little money. Okay, so let me review the chat. Guys, I forgot to say this top of the show, this is an interactive show. And for those of you that show up on days where we don't announce giveaways, I really appreciate that. And this is your opportunity to get your questions heard and get your questions answered. And, this is a chance where you can go back and forth a little bit with me. I usually charge a couple $100 an hour for one-on-one coaching, and yet you guys have me all to yourself. So, yeah, let's get the bells in the chat, guys. I really appreciate that. This is, we're beyond the bell, but we still like to see the bells. 200K static, added 1K before the closing bell. That's awesome. Oh, Jorge, man, I love to see that. You won the giveaway yesterday, and you're already up in the account. And I'm okay with this, but you're spoiling one of my talking points for the 3 tips to passing the Static Growth Plus account. The first 1,000 is the most important, is number one. We're going to get to that. We're going to give NVIDIA a couple more minutes, and then we're going to get to that pretty quickly. I'm assuming NVIDIA has not reported because the NQ is not acting like a squirrel on meth right now. I anticipate it will do that for quite a bit. But yeah, Jorge, it's great to see, man. That's outstanding to get you there. I've always said, we've done these giveaways for a while. I've always said I want somebody, and I know this just law of averages, law of numbers, this would take quite some time, right? But always wanted somebody to email us after like a year and say, gosh, I want an account during one of these giveaways. I passed the eval. I'm into brokerage. I just made, my second withdrawal, my third withdrawal. I withdraw, I'm withdrawing 25,000 from the account or something like that. So Jorge, I wish that for you. Keep on keeping on, and do your best, man. That's what we're looking for. All right. All right, so we're going to go ahead and we'll come back to NVIDIA. Well, you know what, we're going to watch for just a couple more minutes here, and then we'll switch over to our lesson of the day, and then we can come back here and talk about NVIDIA if and when they're reporting. We'll see if there's a timeline on this. Just bear with me here, guys. Yeah, Twitter is very impatient right now. It's really interesting to see all that activity right before the close, though, right, guys? Just complete reversal of our move down after the Fed minutes released, right? I mean, we got down to 380. I mean, it's basically a 150-plus point move. Very, very interesting. We'll see. I'm not saying somebody knew something. I'm just saying, right? All right, let's see if the numbers dropped here. Okay, somebody just said 10 minutes on that. I don't know. Take that for what it's worth. All right, so we're going to go ahead and we'll come back to this momentarily. You guys are watching your charts, so if they go crazy, let me know, because I'm on limited monitors here. But let's talk about the lesson of the day, guys, and let's go specifically get into the 3 steps or 3 tips to passing. You know what? Let me get myself off the screen here. Actually, let me just shrink myself up a little bit. There we go. Okay, so let's specifically talk the tips here. Now, they can apply to any account, guys, but very specifically, I'm talking about the static growth $200,000 account available on the Blue Sky website, bluesky.pro. Check that out. So, it's a static drawdown, which means the drawdown stays fixed. Again, the numbers. Don't worry so much about the account balance. You'll get a $200,000 account balance, so 198. You can't go below that, and that doesn't move. You make $500 on your first trade, all of a sudden you've got $2,500 of cushion before you need to reset the account or blow out the account or whatever. Okay, guys, the first 1,000 is the most important. In theory, this should not be true. Right? In theory, every dollar that you make or lose the account should be equally important, et cetera, et cetera. But follow the math with me, if you will. You need to make $4,000 before you lose $2,000, okay, or before you get down to 198. All right. So getting that positive first 1,000, and it's great. Like Jorge did that apparently at the end. That's great. You don't have to do it in a single day, single trade, whatever. Okay. But let's say after your first 4 trades, you're up $1,000. Okay, now you have $3,000 worth of cushion, and you have $3,000 to get to your profit target and get into Blue Live. That's beautiful. That's absolutely beautiful. Now it's a 1-to-1. Instead of being 2-to-1, just making that first $1,000, it's 1-to-1. And guys, any competent trader, albeit you could run into some bad luck, or you could fat finger into a trade. You meant to do 5 micros, you did 10 micros. The limit on the account for the eval is 10 micros or 1 mini. Right, so like you can't accidentally get into 5 or 6 or 7. But if you lose 1,000, let's say you YOLO a trade, right, and you're down 1,000. Now you only have 1,000 until you've blown the eval, and you got to go 5,000 to get to your goal. Okay, that's a challenge for even the most competent traders. Now again, you're at an advantage because that static drawdown is just that. It does not move. Okay, you make $2,000. You're up at 202. 198 is still the drawdown limit. Okay, so that's awesome. All right. So that first 1,000 is key. This ties into my next point, guys. Okay, understand the sizing that you have with this account. Okay, so you have 10 micros, 1 mini. I recommend going with the 10 micros instead of 1 mini because you can scale out on the upside. But Matt, the commissions don't worry about the commissions, guys. As I have said many times, okay, if the commissions, and I said this 10 years ago when futures commissions were ridiculous and options commissions were ridiculous. If commissions are the difference between you being a profitable trader and an unprofitable trader, you're not a profitable trader. End of discussion, end of story, because commissions exist. They're there, right? So, yeah, I don't think I need to say any more on that. And I am a big believer, guys, and this is how I catch. It just takes 2 or 3 times a month. A trade going from a plus $1,200 trade to a plus $3,000 trade is sometimes just letting that last contract run. Okay, I had this happen to me about 3 weeks ago where I had a trade. It was a moderately successful trade. I think I booked about $800 in profits, and I left the last contract on, and all of a sudden got one of those crazy moves in my direction based on intraday news. And all of a sudden, the last contract, a mini, instead of being up 25 points, all of a sudden was up 70. Okay, so I made more on that last contract than I did on every other contract that I traded that entire day. Okay. And granted, we don't swing for the fences, right? We're not up there trying to hit home runs. But when you go up there and you're putting solid contact on, you're going to get one over the fence every now and then. So understanding the sizing for this account, again, if it were me, this is just what I would do in this account. And I'm a newer trader, so rewind a few years, you give me this account. I'm going to start, guys, with only 3 micros, okay? I'm going to take about a week to move from 3 to 5. And maybe another week from 5 to 10. And hopefully by then I've built up maybe $700, $800, $900 in profit. Maybe I've gotten that golden 1,000 or that golden 1,500 to start with, and now all of a sudden I have room. Okay, now I can go up to the 10 micros, and you know what? If you're up $1,000, guys, on after let's say 5 trading days, you're up $1,000, and you lose $500 on your first trade where you're full size into the 10 micros. Okay, well, you're okay. You're still in the ball game. Now, if you get oversized, your first 2 trades combined for $1,500 in losses, and you want to stay at 10 micros, literally 20 handles against you, 20 to 25 handles blows out your account. Okay, so understand the sizing that you're dealing with. For me, when I've played around with evals in the past, whether they're self evals, I've set up my Rhythmic Pro to imitate an eval before, just so I can, because I work with a lot of people that at prop firms, so I want to understand kind of the mentality and how to do this, because there is some differences in trading my personal account and a prop firm eval, right? I don't have rules. I have personal rules that I use, but there's nothing, if I'm sitting there hovering above a daily loss limit, it doesn't, it doesn't close my account and done with it like it would if you were in a prop firm, right? So I would start, again, very small. I'd start from about 3 to 5 micros until I get that plus 1,000. Then I would go up to about 7 or 8 micros until I hit that second 1,000. Now I'm going to get up to about full size. I'm going to try to get, now once I get close, let's say I close a trade out and I'm 200 from passing the eval. First of all, I'm going to resist the urge to immediately go full size and try to immediately get that. I had a client reach out to me a couple weeks ago on this and say, I was within 200 of passing, so I decided I'm just going to find a trade right now. He went in oversized and ended up, instead of being 200 from passing, he was then 1,700 from passing, and eventually, after being $200 from passing the eval, bottomed out. Okay? It's tough. And I've heard multiple stories of that from a lot of different people. Okay, yeah, Chris, you're right. It's all about having discipline. So I would, it's no different than going from stoplight to stoplight in a car, right? The light turns green. Most of us, at least those of us that like their insurance premiums staying fairly low, aren't going to gun it right out of the gate, right? You're going to ease into the speed. You're going to rev it up. Eventually get to top speed, and then as you're getting to the stoplight or you're getting to your destination, you're going to slow down again. All right, so maybe if you get just a couple $100 away from passing the eval, and maybe the nerves are creeping up and you're getting a little anxious, maybe scale it back down to 2 or 3 micros. If you catch a really good trade, 2 or 3 micros can make you a couple $100 pretty quickly. But this way, if a trade or two goes against you, instead of being all the way back where you started or worried about blowing out the account, maybe you go from 200 away from passing to 350 away from passing, and you're still then just a trade or two away from getting over the hump. So understand your sizing, okay? Last tip here, guys, and then we'll go back to our charts here momentarily. Just trade this eval, okay? Listen, this is a static eval. Okay, you get some leverage, you get some favorable rules, so it costs a little more. One of the biggest mistakes I've noticed prop firm traders making, and I'm going to get this off the screen so we can watch while I go through this point, so we can watch the video, which is supposed to hit pretty soon here, is they're trading like 5 different evals. Right, and granted, at Blue Sky you can just have a couple, and there's a good reason for that, right? Blue Sky could try to sell you 100, maybe you pass one, maybe you don't, okay? But that's not what they're trying to do. They're trying to get you into a live brokerage account and get you making money. Because if you're in a live brokerage account making money and making withdrawals, they're making money too. Your business goals and their business goals align, which is exactly what we want to see. So don't, it always messes with me when I talk to somebody and they're like, well, I have this account with this company and this account with this company. I'm up 200 here, I'm down 400. First of all, how the hell do you keep track of that all? I would go insane with that, right? And second of all, this is a serious account for serious traders, and it takes a time and a financial commitment. Oh, here we go. Wow, that spiked. The data is not going to be able to catch up with this. All right, we're going to go on the macro here, guys. Let's see if we get all the way back up to this 17,700. Now, keep in mind, sometimes initial reactions can be wrong. The numbers hit. The traders have to go in and look at whatever they're looking for, okay? Like with Apple over the years, people always wanted to look at, we don't care what the earnings per share are, how much money you made. Tell us how many iPhones you sold. Or more recently with Apple, it's been tell us what your subscription services are doing and the numbers there, right? With Netflix, we don't care how much money you made. How many subscribers did you grow last year, right? So we'll see. We're going to watch this together. Boy, what a, oof. Oh, they suckered in some longs there. RIP to the poor SOBs that went long at 580. Yeah, Chris, that's great. Well, hold on. We're still only a minute out of this, guys. It could easily reverse again, or it can go low a day at this point. I want to zoom. Let me zoom this so we can get a little more perspective here. Good price action, though. Guys, I'm not trading this, right? And y'all shouldn't be either. I know there's some of you guys on the other side of it trying to trade this thing. There's probably been a couple hundred blown accounts just in the last few seconds. But no, we want good movement though, right? Because it sets us up for tomorrow. We had great movement at the end of the day today. Yeah, guys. So let me. I don't have this pulled up here. Yeah, just check out the website bluesky.pro. Tomorrow I'll go back into the rules again and we'll take a good hard look at it. But Chris, I will tell you this, or not Chris. I'm sorry. Who was just talking about this? Mike. Excuse me, Mike. I will say this. I do this program for Blue Sky. I get along great with the Blue Sky guys. It's a great team they have over there. But I'm not an employee. And if there was an issue, I make the people I work with will tell you I make plenty of money trading. I do this show because I enjoy it and I enjoy teaching people. If this were a BS company, guys, flat out, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be working with them. I mean that's it. And I will tell you this, as somebody who has spent a lot of time researching prop firms over the last year and a half, as various clients have brought them up to me and asked what I've thought of them, this $200,000 Static Growth Plus account is the best is the best account I've seen across all the different ones. And Blue Sky, again, they're one of the few that actually their goal is to put you into a live brokerage, and they have a path to it. There's no guessing, right? Go into the fine print of some of these other companies that claim that they put you in a live brokerage account, and they may eventually. Okay, but they're going to want you to trade for months in a sim firm, and they're going to give you runarounds and consistency rules and funded. What a bunch of crap that is, right? Like, I appreciate consistency rules in an eval, right? You're proving that you can trade over multiple days. One trade doesn't get you there. But then you pass their so-called eval, you get into the funded or whatever the crap they call them at other places, right? And it's like, well, I just had 10 great trading days in a row. I've made 20 grand. I'm buying a new car, right? I got 20 in the bank. I got 20 here. I'm going to go get me a nice car. And they're like, well, you can only really withdraw. What do you mean? Like, I'm sorry. Those rules are ridiculous. That's, whereas here, they are clearly defined to get from starting your eval to making withdrawals in a live brokerage account. And you can make a withdrawal as you move from stage 2 to stage 3 from Blue Live into the brokerage. It's clearly defined. Right? It's very clearly defined. I don't know what else people are looking for. Guys, this business, I swear to God, this business, you get what you pay for. You want to go seek out the cheapest and easiest, you're going to get what you pay for. I'm being straight up with you. That's just how this is the financial business, right? This is the markets. So money is everything. And I understand people, honestly, if guys, you can only afford a $30 eval from a crappy company, I'm going to be 100% honest with you. You're better off sim trading for a couple of months, saving up a couple $100 and grabbing the Static Growth Plus. All right. What do I mean by just trade this eval? So when you pick up this, just trade this. Don't worry about other evals you have from other companies or even with Blue Sky. Just stick with this until you pass it, or you need to reset, or you get your monthly subscription. You get a reset if your account is in a failing state at that point. So just concentrate on this, right? Because if you do really well and pass the eval, then you get through Blue Live. Within a few months, guys, you could be up 20, 30, 40, 50 grand. In that account, because you get, it's a $200,000 eval account, which means you're going to get some size when you get into the brokerage stage. You can go from 1 mini to 2 minis. I believe their max is 30 minis. They're not going to give you that right away, but they're going to work with you to build up to, and guys, up until very recently, I've only traded 2 minis. I just started this year trading 3 minis. I don't need 10, 15, 20 minis. I'm not there yet. Maybe someday, right? I'm not there yet. So, yeah, it's, man. Boy, whole much ado about nothing on this, huh, guys? Markets are going to continue to process this. I imagine there'll be an earnings call. That's kind of a letdown. I thought we were screaming higher. I thought we were screaming lower. I can almost guarantee it, guys. Across all the prop firm companies, thousands of accounts have been blown out over the past 6 minutes and 30 seconds. I can guarantee it. Now, maybe some don't let you trade this or don't trade, whatever. That's fine. But I can guarantee it's thousands, maybe tens of thousands across all the companies. I don't know if Josh is listening, but I bet he agrees with me. I mean, if for no other reason than I'm always right. So just ask me, I'll tell you. All right, guys. So any other questions in the chat here as we watch this? The good news is we did get some movements and volatility, so it'll be interesting to see where we open tomorrow. So looking at the macro here on the NQ, again, 17,700 is this major overhead resistance, and sort of I think it's time to go ahead and pull this over here, guys. So this is a big area of macro resistance. It was previously support, right? Took us 4 tries to get through here. Really more than that if you look at this on a candle-by-candle basis. And then it acted as support, right? So previous resistance became support, meaning this zone here is a key resistance area, which means it's going to take some conviction, it's going to take some volume, and it's going to take some velocity to get through it. Similarly, we don't have a lot below us. We've got this little area of support. If we get below that, we're probably headed down to the 300 level or the 200 level. As we move into the spring. Beautiful day here in the Chicagoland area, 60 degrees today. It was wonderful. I'm going to go sit outside and enjoy that in a minute. 2 minis is more than enough. Yes, Jabo, that is exactly accurate. And guys, 10 micros, you're not going to get to 4,000 in a single trade, most likely, right? It's going to take you some trades. Going to take you some time, take you some days. There's no minimum trading days for that account, right? You could, in theory, pass it on day one, but you're probably going to need a few days. Don't be in a rush, guys. On Blue Sky's YouTube channel, where you're at right now, if you once this video is done, look at Blue Sky's YouTube channel. I have an 8 tips to pass in your eval, right? The 3 tips I just gave you were specifically for the static growth. These are for ones in general, and the first one is, guys, you've got a whole month. Use it. Depending on when you subscribe, guys, you've got, I think, anywhere from 18 to 22 trading days in the month. And even if you want to round that down to 15, you've got 15 trading days. Why are you trying to pass on the first trade? Not even the first day. People are going to try and pass on the first trade. That's idiotic, in my not so humble opinion. Oh, okay. Thank you, Raj, for dropping that in. Raj, my man on the controls back in the home office in Wahoo, Nebraska. Okay, so we are now confirming, at least right now, that initial move. All right, we're going to watch this next candle open together, guys, and see where it goes initially. I'm such a market nerd. I can, without even a position or without even trading, I can just sit here and watch candlesticks. Oh, sorry, Henrik. I just saw your. Can you show some of your trades during the week and how you think about placing an order? I post my journal in my community every day, and I post my journal in the P&L channel of the Discord for Blue Sky every month. Or I say every month. I just did it last month, but I'm going to do it again this month. So having a pretty good year. But yes, I will be happy to. You know what I'll do, guys? I can pull up a paper account on TradingView here. I'll do that on a future show, maybe tomorrow, and just put some trades out there just so you guys can see how they're entered and what they mean and how they trigger and all that kind of stuff. We'll do that at some point. But honestly, if you go to Investopedia, it's a great free resource. And just look up stop orders, limit orders, stop market, stop loss, all these types of orders, and then just go to your platform and see how to enter them. Almost every platform, guys, now gives you the option to either be in whatever eval or live account you're trading, or sim, go into sim and just play around with some orders so you can see how they platforms are different, like especially if you're like trading in the dome. Sometimes you click here and it's a limit order, sometimes it's a stop order. It can be confusing, especially for newer traders. I encourage you to play around in a simulated environment with those, and then you're going to get an idea of how all that works. Okay, so yeah, it's guys, your platforms are your tools. Okay, it's no different than if we were electricians or carpenters or doctors, right? Every profession has their tools, and you're not gonna want an electrician wiring your house who comes in. It's like, oh, I'm seeing these tools for the first time, or a doctor who's about to perform surgery on you, go like holding up 5 tools. What are these? Right? You don't want that. You want somebody that's very familiar with their tools. The platforms are our tools. Right? All right, guys. So I think we've had some fun today. So tomorrow is Thursday. We have a little bit of a tradition on Thursdays here. Most of you know what that is, but I'm not going to officially confirm anything. So I expect you back here tomorrow on Thursday for another edition of Beyond the Bell. We're going to continue our series, as we have been all this week, talking about the Static Growth Plus account. We're going to see how the markets shook up after the NVIDIA and with a whole day in. I think we're going to, guys, I made a prediction starting about November of 2023. I said I think 2024 is going to be an outstanding year for day traders. I think there's going to be so much volatility between inflation, major macro events. We have an election in this country, in case you haven't heard. There's so many macro events going on. I think there's going to be some uncertainty with Fed things coming up. 80% of the time, everybody knows exactly what the Fed's going to do. It has little to no effect on the markets. I think we're going to get into some situations this summer where they're talking about maybe lowering rates, or all the talking heads that predicted a recession last year are once again predicting it this year. I guess if you predict one every year, you'll eventually be right. But all of this is going on, and we don't care about the individuals of this. Guys, we just want action intraday. We just want the markets to move and to give us signals of what they're going to do. And we're getting a ton of it. So far, my prediction has been dead on, and I think it's only going to get better. So you're picking a great year to be in the markets. You're picking a great year to learn how to trade. Stick with Blue Sky, especially the Static Growth account. Watch Mike trade in the morning, guys. Even if you're not familiar, with his style and what he does, just sit, watch, learn, ask questions. Same thing on this show. Tune in every day, ask questions, because you never know when we might do a flash sale, flash giveaway, or anything. We've done both giveaways and sales on these streams with no notice whatsoever. So tune in every day, and you never know when that may happen. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you for tuning into another edition of Beyond the Bell. I will see you for Giveaway Thursday. Oops. Cat's out of the bag now. Tomorrow. Have a good night.